Okay. The 4.2, it's a little small from where you guys are sitting, I'm sure. Just zoom in a little bit. You guys see that? So it starts off pretty chill, round to the nearest given place, and they're asking about thousands. So if you don't remember what the place values are, then it'll be hard. If you do, then it's no big deal. So 4.2 is estimation. You guys remember your decimal places? What number is the thousandths? Tenths. So right after the decimal point, it's tenths, hundredths, thousands. So it's going to be, going to the right after the decimal point is the tenths, hundredths, thousands. It's going to be the 3. Yeah. So the rules for rounding, do you remember, right? You look to the right and you see, is that number bigger than 5? To the right of, let me zoom in a little more. To the right of the 3, the thousandths place, it's less than 5, so we just cut it off. Right, so the answer would simply be, right, so let me write the question down, round to the thousandths. Okay, let's find a basic image. Let's see, this guy's pretty good. So you ever forget, you can always look it up, or I can send you this chart. Tenths, hundredths, zoom in again. Thousands, 10,000s. If we go the other way, it's ones, tens, etc. So if they tell you thousands, you got to go to that number and look to the right. Okay, so don't forget. So let's go back to the question. Actually, let's go to the, what was the number? I forgot already. Let me write down the number for 1.18324. 8. Okay. So 1 point is 1.8, right? My bad. So we look at this number. So since the number to the right of the thousands place, I wrote that weird, thousandths. Is less than 5. We then keep it at 3. So the answer will be 1.183. So we just cut the rest off. We don't round up.
So if it does round up, would it be 1.184?
Yeah, it'll be 4 and the rest is just gone.
Zero that.
Mhm. Yeah. Pretty much. So look at the next one. Oops, went too far. Nearest 100,000ths. So what number is that?
4.
I think so. Let's see. Tenths, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, right? The 9. So look to the right. What number is next to the 9?
Still say the same now. But it's still 4.
Yeah, it'll stay just the 9. So round to nearest 100,000s. $2.83694499. So I'm going to look at the tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000. So tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. Oh, so it's actually the 4 right here, 100,000. I bet. Must have counted wrong. 3, 6, 9, 4. So it looks to the right. It's less than 4. So I'd round here. Cut it off. Okay. Any question on that? Not too bad, right? On these, there's a technique we have to learn. So let's look at the example. See what they do. So to obtain the estimate of the computation, first round each number to the nearest 10. So what are the instructions? Obtain the estimate of the following computation by rounding numbers so the resulting arithmetic can easily be performed by hand or in your head. Then use a calculator to, I guess, check yourself. So what they do, they round to the nearest 10 and they add those numbers. So looking at these guys, round to the nearest 10. So look at the 7. Look to the right, and that's going to be bigger, right? So that'll be 380. On the other one, you have 549. So what is that going to round to in the tens place? Okay. So we got 378 plus 549. So what they want you to do is use estimation to help you out. So it changes to 380 plus 500. And so you look at the number to the right, you round up to 5, right? Look to the right, you round up to 8. So these are going upward. So now that we've rounded them up, we can just simply just say, what is 38 plus 55, right? Yeah, 93,100,000. For sure is a 93, right? Right. Add these together. Now we can check ourselves. No, they said to use the calculator, I guess. Check ourselves. Yeah. So the whole idea is just use rounding to make it easier to crunch numbers. That's all they're asking you to do. Okay, so that's what they got here. Okay. So this time, same deal, but use the decimals. So what they're gonna do is they see the decimal and they're like, well, you know what? That's annoying. I don't want to deal with the decimals. So we'll round up to the nearest ones place and just add everything else. Does that make sense? So instead of adding these guys, let's see here. This is what they're gonna do. 0.2 is smaller than 5, so they just leave it at 36. 0.04 is smaller than 1, so it's gonna stay 16. So let me write this down and we'll do it together. Solve by using an estimate. So can you keep it short? So we have 36.29 plus 16.046. So you look at the decimal place, or you look at the ones place and you look to the right. This is less than 5. So change that to just a 36.
Or wasn't that subtraction?
Oh yeah, it was right. Thanks. So look at the 6, go to the right. That's clearly way below 5. So you keep it at 16. So now this is much easier to add. What is 36 plus 16? Okay, so that's all they want you to do in the homework.
No,
And
it's just, so once you get the whole numbers, so switching aside, it becomes subtracting to addition.
I keep adding, dude.
I'll just make sure.
No, you're right, man. You're right. I don't know why I really want to add them. All right, so minus, what is it supposed to be? 20. But the whole idea is just making it simple, so you don't have to think too hard. We cut off these decimals and just add the whole numbers. So the entire section is estimate and add. I don't think there's anything else. Let's see. There's a times version. Let's see here. Sorcar. Let me look at your workbook. Okay. Let's look back to the workbook. This is example 5 for us. Example 3 from the workbook. So Juanita pays $3.10 per day to ride the bus. If a monthly pass is $40, is it cheaper to get the pass? Looks like it, right? So we could just round that to $3 and multiply it by, so use 30 to 30 days. How much would that be? 3 times 30?
$90, that'd be $90.
So right away you can see that it's significantly more, right? So using the rounding idea, 3 times 30 days is going to be way too much. Hash is better. Nothing too crazy. I just want you to think about it and round. Okay. Example 4 has a graph. I don't think I can show you. I'll have to draw it. That's cool on this page so far. Okay. Make sure. I think chapter 4 is a little more chill so far, right? It's kind of nice. So given this circle graph or pie chart, but try to graph this nonsense. Don't know if it's going to work. These are all percentages. It is not to scale because I am not an artist. I'm sorry. So this is speeding. Apparently these are prices of tickets. Different types of tickets issued by local police during a random year. Running a red light. I'll abbreviate this one, DUI. You guys know what that is, right?
Driving under influence.
Just a safe space. The illegally parked. Oh man, smeared it. Get back to that. This will be other. Missing a stop sign. I saw this lawyer. I think it was someone sent me a TikTok video. This is lawyer talking about this case in San Antonio, and so there was. So this is what started. So there was this car just racing down the highway, and they passed a 18. They passed a fire truck, and they fucking hit it, scrape it, and there was like 2 cops there. So the cops get out. So then they scrape the fire truck, and then they pull over, and then they park, and the cops get out all pissed off, ready to arrest them. And they look inside, and they just see 3 guys with seatbelts on, asleep in the back seat. So they're like, and then all 3 of them swear that they don't know how they got there. So they can't prove that any of them were driving. So they went to court. They all never changed their story. So the judge had to dismiss it. There was not enough evidence to pin it on anyone.
But that, for driving.
Yeah, they were technically drunk, all three of them, but since they couldn't prove, and you need reasonable, with a reasonable doubt, and then in America, right, you need that amount of evidence to charge. They couldn't do it. So the judge saw like, well, technically you don't have enough to prove that any of them were driving. They dismissed the entire case, and nobody got anything. But the title was bro code. None of them ever said anything else. They stuck to their story. They questioned all of them like, separately a bunch of times and never changed it.
That's how it is. That's military, right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
When my buddy brought a armadillo to his room and it came out during inspection, Seal was like, "Yours room, where the armadillo come from?" What's her? Probably the other guys. Who knows?
I was on the rage. I had a lot of alcohol wine in my room. My roommate, he didn't drink.
Yeah.
And, but like, and everybody knew. So like, he was above the age. We saw when we came in for inspection, all my fridge on top of it, like liquor bottles and what's this? What's this? Oh, he was like, "Is it yours?" He's like, "Yeah, that's mine. Drink every once in a while." So he stuck up for me. I was like,
He was like, "I'm experimenting."
yeah.
Like, practicing bartending.
Barracks bartender.
I had a couple of my buddies come and get me that did the barracks to wake me up, get me dressed because I was drunk.
Oh man.
That inspection.
True.
That was good. They're good friends. with me.
Yeah,
They
man,
woke me
that's-
up. They got me dressed. They make sure I'm dressed. Like they got me dressed. So they were holding me. They're like, "Man, he's drunk." So they're holding me, make sure I'm standing up good. So they're like, "All right." Then inspection, they're like, "All right, go do what you gotta do." And they pull me back in bed and I'm stuck it off.
That's some true bros right there,
Uh,
for sure. Got your back.
My buddy had some weed, and he was like, "I gotta get rid of it." And I got off staff duty. I was like, "What?" He's like, and he showed it to me. I snatched it, I ran my room, hit it at that, he threw it in my fridge. And like, they were like, "Open your door." I was like, "Sir, I just got off 24-hour duty." He's like, "Oh, I apologize. Go back to sleep." I was like, "Please, sir, shut that door."
Yeah.
Man, that is funny stuff. All right. So looking at this garbage chart, what's the most issued ticket type?
Speeding.
Yeah. Speeding. Now, if 19,375 tickets were issued, estimate the number of tickets issued for running a red light. So remember, they're all in percentages, right? I just didn't put the symbol. Probably should. Yeah, I was watching a documentary and like they push the police to give a lot of tickets. Like they don't want to do it. Like the officers, they don't really like doing that. They'd rather be focused on, solving crimes or investigating. But they need that funding to pay for all that stuff that they use. So they're pushing them to take our money to pay for all the, whatever they need. So it's like, kind of sucks. Like they don't really want to be. I mean, I'd rather they be doing other stuff, like not giving us tickets all the time. Then everybody hates them for it, and they don't want to do it. Sucks. So I'm like, I guess they got to raise taxes or funding or something a different way. But especially small towns, like there's not enough people living there, so all their money is coming from tickets or DUIs, etc. Or putting that stupid thing in the car where you got to blow in it, that machine.
Oh yeah, the brake light.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's just making funding for.
Yeah, they're doing that a lot now. I have a couple of friends that have like ankle monitor on them. They got 300.
Yeah, it's like they're just milking the people. It's kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they probably shouldn't be driving, but still, it's a lot of money. Now I saw an article recently. They want to charge people for going to jail. Just like,
Yeah, so, I know,
It's like,
in
what?
the jail, if you go in there with cash. Well, somebody told me, if you go in there with cash, now they have a machine, they put the cash in there, and it goes all apart.
Hmm.
And so if you get out of jail, it charges you to get your money back. So you don't get the full amount back, it charges you to get it back.
Yeah, so they're probably gonna add deductions per day on top of that.
So yeah, they're taking on.
Yeah, I think that's kind of uncool. Like, it's not a hotel, man. Anyway, it's a very complicated issue, but if we're gonna round or estimate, let's just cut off that 375, right? Just use the 19,000. So they want to know stop sign, right, or no, red light. Running a red light. So remember, these are all percentages. So how do you change percent to decimal? Do you remember? Right, all you got to do is move the decimal twice or divide by 100. So on any calculator, 21 divided by 100 is the decimal form. So the symbol percent means out of 100, which means 1 divided by 100. So you can change the symbol. So the actual symbol means something. It's 21 times 1 over 100. So that becomes this here. Of course, you don't have to show all this work, but I just want you to see that it means something. Just multiply by 19,000, we'll have a good estimate, right? 3990. So 3,990 tickets. Are related to running a red light. Okay. So far, any questions on this? Is that all right? That's bad, right? What if 182 tickets were issued for DUI? Oops. DUI. Estimate the total number of tickets. So 182 was just for DUI, and that was 19%, right? How would you find the rest? Do you see what I'm asking? You see the question though, right? Like, so we'll just put it in, think of it carefully. So we don't know the total amount, but I know that at 19% of the total, which we'll call X, I guess, is equal to 182, right? 19% of X, where X is the total, is 182. So like if you were at a store and they told you, hey, this laptop is 50% off and it's cost $500, right? You can just simply double it, but if it's a weird percentage, then you're gonna have to solve for it. So you can just divide by 19%, right? So the total would simply be 182 divided by 19%. But what is 19 as a decimal? Yeah, it's 0.19. So calculator time. I didn't estimate it this time, but it should be about 958. Anyway. So they'll have a lot of questions like this. They'll give you a graph and they want you kind of just to think about it, think through it. It's about kind of like problem solving or critical thinking. Which will be the next section. It'll be problem solving. Okay, let's look at this one just for fun. So 10 people ordered calculators. The least expensive was $19.95, and the most expensive was $39.95. 6 of them ordered the $24.95 calculator. Select the best estimate. Okay. All right. Try to. It's strange. Okay, so you see what they're giving us, right? They're saying the only thing we know is what 6 people did. So the other 4 is unknown. We have no idea. They don't tell us anywhere. So what you're supposed to do is make an assumption and then average those assumptions together. So that'll give you the best estimate because you can't find it without knowing, right? The exact number. So assume 2 people bought the cheap ones and 2 people bought the expensive ones, average them together. And that will be your total added to the 6 that we do know. Right? 6 was 25. That makes sense? Okay, so this example here, let me write this down. 10 people bought calculators. And 6 bought, I'm going to shorten this up, a $24.95 calculator. The least expensive was $19.95. And most expensive $39.95. So what they recommend is first find what they did spend. So around the $24.95 to $25, because that's pretty much a dollar, right? 6 times 25, that's going to be what? Yeah, 150, right? Okay. So there's 4 people left. 4 people bought the other 2. other two types. So it's the best estimate is to assume it was even. So let's say, so assume 2 bought the cheap one, $20, and 2 bought the expensive. So that would be what?
That'll be 40 plus 80.
40 plus 80, 120. So that'd be one way to do it. Another way would be to assume all 4 bought one and all 4 bought the other, and then average them. So alternate way, let's say 4 bought 20, or 4 bought the 40. So this would be 80, right? This would be, oops, 160. If I add those together and average them, what would you get? Yeah, so the average of these two is 80 plus 160 divided by 2. So 240 over 2. So notice it's pretty much the same thing, right? So I would say they spent a total of 150 plus 120. I think that's a safe estimate that they spent on 10 calculators, since we don't know what they did. Anyways, that idea makes sense with what they're trying to get you to do. They just want you to estimate and figure out ballpark answer. That's the whole goal of that section, is can you ballpark what's going on. Okay, so is 4.2 making sense? Like, you comfortable estimating? Are you comfortable setting it up this way and solving some problems, given a chart or a pie chart or a bar chart or some little graph? Is this doable? Let's move on then. Something else. Still got time, right? Okay. Problem solving. So again, this is a critical thinking section. When making a choice between various sizes of a product, the best value is the size with the lowest price. Is that true? So if you're at the store, and you're looking at different sizes, they have different prices. What is the best value? Is the size of the lowest price the best deal? Or is that true? What matters?
Quality of it.
Yeah, you remember like on the like at HB they have that little price sticker that tell you the price per ounce. That's what really matters, right? You're getting the actual rate of amount per dollar, or percent, like per actual cents, not percent, but so just because it's the cheapest doesn't mean you're getting the most product, right? You could be getting less for more money for all you know. So just because this tiny bottle is cheap doesn't mean you're getting more. So is the size of the lowest price truly what matters? Right, what matters is just is this, the unit price. So per unit. So like if it tells you like per ounce or per can or per whatever, that's the price you care about. So like if you notice at HB and you look at two different things and they have like different sizes, look at that price. That'll save you the most money. Okay, don't let them trick you. Does that make sense? I'm sure you guys noticed that.
I just got a sense.
Well, they probably have a better rate per ounce or per unit price. That's true.
But sometimes not. Always.
Yeah, I imagine there's probably an exception. Let's see here. What necessary piece of information is missing that prevents solving the problem? So if a student saves $81 per week, how long will it take to save enough money to buy a computer? What's missing from this problem?
Computer.
Yeah, you can't solve this without knowing how much you need to save, right? So in the notes and in the workbook, they're gonna have a step process for solving problems. So let me see if I can bring it up here. Yeah, it should be right there. So this process will help you kind of like if you struggle with word problems or just problem solving, these techniques here will help get you used to it. Right here. So step one, zoom in. Yeah, I can do it with this one. Download first. Too far. There we go. Can you guys see that? Okay, so this is true for everyone, not just you guys. When trying to solve a problem, right? First read through most of the time makes no damn sense. Like so happens to me too. Like I read the word problem and I don't know what they're talking about. So I reread it over and over again. So understanding the problem can be very difficult, but once you understand it, you can start trying to figure out how to solve it. Okay, so first time you read through it, you get an overview. Second time, you read it phrase by phrase. Third time, you begin to write down information you're pulling out of the paragraph. So don't be intimidated by when you first read it. Just keep trying. Right. I remember in graduate school, when one of my buddies was working on his PhD, and the question that he was trying to answer, it took him like 7 months to figure out what the question was even saying before he can start researching and writing about it. So he had to like figure out what the heck is the question. So understanding that problem can be difficult. For him, it took about 6+ months. Right, but it was a dissertation question. Those are supposed to be, involved, right? But anyway. So questions you need to ask yourself, right? Do I understand all the words in this problem? Or maybe they threw out some strange, like the SATs, remember those weird words they use to throw you off? Like, you might have to just Google the word. What the heck does this mean? What am I asked to find or show? So underlying things like that. Can I rephrase it? So sometimes just putting it into basic English and not whatever the heck they're saying goes a long way, right? So all these information I think will help in your workbook. So please look over this if you're ever stuck. The question might be simple, but this problem solving method is very famous. It's called Polya's 4-step method. So please look at it. Let's see here. Step 2, look for patterns. We can already list. See if you can draw a diagram, like if they're talking about, like, you remember those triangle problems back in high school, right? Drawing the picture, trying to find out what the triangle is, or whatever they're talking about. Maybe they're talking about what's the perimeter or area. Just draw the fence or draw the house, draw whatever. That'll help you. Because trying to have that all in your head at the same time is pretty hard, right? Having some stuff on paper will allow you to focus on the actual problem. So once you start getting all these pieces together and organizing your thoughts, then you're like, okay, well, what's the plan? What do I do to start carrying out the method? Step 3. All right. Once you start solving it and you're actually calculating stuff, go back and look at the answer. Like, does this make any sense? Because like you might, like, let's say we're calculating profit and we got like $10 million, like after investing for 2 years, like clearly something's wrong here. Or if you get negative money, something's probably wrong, or negative distance or negative feet measurements. Like if you're trying to measure a perimeter and you get a width of -20, like clearly it makes no sense. You messed something up somewhere. So think clearly, double check your calculations. Always ask yourself when you're done, don't just assume that you're great and just keep going. Like look at it and say, okay, does this fit the problem? Okay. These 4 steps are pretty helpful. The questions themselves may not be hard, right? But that process I think will be a good thing to learn. So same thing that we looked at on the homework. The student says every week. How long will it take for him to buy the TV? If the TV is worth $700, what is missing here?
How much you saving?
Yeah, it didn't say how much he should save. So in order to solve this problem, that information is needed, right? If on the next one, it took Juan 7 hours to drive to his friend's house. How fast was he driving per hour? What's missing in order to figure that out?
Miles per hour. Like how fast it was.
Or missing time. When he got to the friend's house.
Like it took him 7 hours to get there, but we don't know.
Or well, how far his friend is.
For speed.
Yeah, speed would be helpful. If we had distance, we could probably calculate the speed, but yeah, one of those would be nice. Either distance, speed, something, but there's too many things missing. So you can't solve anything.
Probably traffic on the way to Houston.
Yeah. Houston's horrible, man.
I hate driving to Houston.
I think Austin's worse though.
You think Austin's worse than Houston?
Yeah, like just trying to get there. Like as soon as I hit downtown, like I could go at 3 a.m. and there's still traffic at Austin. As soon as you hit downtown Austin, it just sucks. But Houston is yeah, that does also.
I guess so, yeah. Because Austin's is always partying, especially downtown.
Yeah, like I feel like Houston might be chill at 3 in the morning.
I tried this day and night at a friend's house in Austin. I couldn't do it. Like it'd be like 2 a.m. I hear people like knocking on the door. I'm like, hello. Like drunk people are like, yo, you have some fun. I'm like, no, it's in the morning.
Like
It happened like 5
just
times.
like strangers.
Yeah, just random strangers. They're like two
Okay.
beautiful ones too. We're like, hey, can we have it? goodbye. It's 2 in the morning.
Like, I'm
you know,
trying to sleep, bro.
Oh,
I had a VA appointment. They were testing me for everything. I did not want an STD popping up on their radar.
No, that makes
So,
sense. That makes sense, man. Plus, you know, things that sound too good to be true probably aren't, right? Like, it sounds like a trap to me. It's two beautiful women knock on the door and invite me to a threesome. Like, nah, I'm probably gonna lose my organs.
I was like,
Back to sleep.
bro, I think your friends were dressing up as women. And it was like, were they blonde? I was like, yeah. Oh, that's Rhonda and Becky. They always like try to hit me up every time they're drunk. I don't know why. I was like, I don't know either.
Oh man, that's funny. All right, what's missing on this guy?
hours he works.
Well, it's an annual base salary, so he's just making that for the whole year. But
That includes his overtime, right?
I mean, I guess you could get where you get it from there. Because you got the base salary.
yeah, but what's the overtime pay?
It's time and a half.
That's true, that's true.
Well,
So if you know the total, can you figure out what the overtime is without any other information?
I think I can do it. I'll be all work.
Well, what is overtime, right? It's once you go beyond 40 hours. So
So when you have to break it down all the way down to it's hourly, or it would pretty much be getting hourly. I just break it to the overtime.
it looks like maybe you could. Let me think about this. So if we assume it's 40 hours, 52 weeks, right? There's enough info. If we knew the hours that he went over, it would be easy. If they separated the amount. What is your weekly base salary?
Mail carrier works like 6 days a week, right? So, 8 days.
I think we would need the, yeah, I don't think there's enough. I think we need the,
How many days he works? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I think it would be how much time he
It's
did overtime, you know?
yeah, how many
Because
hours
that
he
could
went
be a
over?
big factor too,
Yeah, because I don't know
because
how much overtime he's putting in.
like if he put like 50 hours in every week, you know, that would probably.
Be on 10 all the time.
Yeah, we could calculate it then, right? By multiplying time and a half.
1.5.
Yeah, I don't think we cannot calculate his base. Just need one more piece of info. Either the overtime hours.
Made that much.
I know. Wow.
I think they make like 21 an hour now.
I think
Mel-
that's
Melman?
actually a higher rate on that. Yeah, it's like 21, 22 an hour right now.
Yeah, I think they're hiring too because a lot of people are retiring. All the boomers are walking out, you know. Little by little. So there's a lot of openings. It's actually a great time to find work right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's a great time to find work.
It's not that, it's just they don't have qualifications or don't want to get the qualifications, like how our old man used to, you know, like how my dad used to do that, and
Yeah.
probably your dad did too.
Yeah, there's probably not enough people with those specialized skills but there's a ton of, their age group is so huge, it's hard for us to replace them because there's not enough of us. So it's also another factor. Not enough. So things are changing. It's getting interesting.
Plus with all the diversity of work nowadays, it's just, some people would rather not do it.
True. There's other options like be a YouTuber now, right?
Yeah, everybody's trying to do the whole YouTube vlog or.
People making money off TikTok and all this kinds of weird stuff. Like, why should I go be an electrician then? Stay at home and play games, I guess. But anyway, it doesn't always work out, so we should probably have plan B.
I'll stick about going to go work for the USPS.
I think it's a great idea.
I'm excited to be next military and almost time and service goes along with it, so.
Hell yeah.
I think that's
I could work for a few more years and just retire from them and have another paycheck coming in, so.
oh man, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, then all I
Should do
thought
it.
about, I was like, I already got time to service in, so I don't have to work too much longer with them.
Yeah, you can,
Retire out.
can retire like pretty cool, pretty early, just chill.
They receive a retirement check from the military.
Yeah, I think now's the time to apply for USPS.
Okay, I said, I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, if I didn't, I would do it if I was like, if I was younger, I think.
I mean, they really do much, I mean, I don't think, that's much too hard.
I mean, like, we just deliver, man, right? Sorting through packages, that's really it.
Mhm.
That's not bad,
Yeah, and I've been in some of them, they're well conditioned, so
Yeah.
it's like, might as well.
Yeah, I feel like right at us. Yeah, I
Because
think it's a
you can do
good.
anything from sorting the mail to working the counter, delivering the mail. I mean,
True.
so many different, opportunities to work with it.
Yeah, you can do on the passport stuff or whatever.
It has,
That'd be like, that'd be a like, sir, I know you're smoking a cookie.
oh,
And it's an old lady, like, I'm just trying to real quick, but her package.
Yeah, I don't think I'd say anything. I'd be like, yeah, it's whatever, man.
You fooled me.
Hey,
with
it's
your
your life.
It's like I'm not gonna get involved. I just stamp this thing, man. That's it. So what do you think is the better value here? I think we're almost out of time. So
I don't think you could really conclude that because, you can't.
It's all per pound and a half.
yeah, we can. If we find the dollar per pound, we'll know which one's better, right?
It was $2.50 for a pound and a half. It was 17.
Well, if you round it up, then it's 2 pounds, for
Right.
$2.
$1 a pound.
And then the pound bag of cat food is 18. And that is 18, so it's
But sign for $1 a pound.
$1.03.
They're pretty close, right? So estimating it won't get us won't basically tell us the right answer. So we're gonna have to divide and get the exact answer. So if you want to know dollars per pound, right? What does per mean? Miles per hour? When you hear that? It's on the bottom, right? You're dividing by it. So whenever you hear that word per, you divide by. So dollars per pound, divide 215 by 1.5. What would that be? I don't know what that is. So dollar per pound. So it's about $1.43 every pound, right? That's what the per means, every. And last one. 1841 divided by 17.6. So which one's a better deal?
18.
Yeah. 18. All right, guys. So the exam's still open. So before you leave, I need to remind you. I don't want you to get behind. So in modules, I'm opening up, all of them should be open very soon. I've opened the first 5 weeks. So in there's videos from one of my coworkers. He did this online, so he threw a bunch of videos in there, examples, reviews. So they're all in there. So, but what I do need you to do is the quizzes. You can use all your notes, whatever you like. There's no camera or anything. The exam does have a camera, but you are allowed your notes. That will close on the 28th. So try to get that out of the way this weekend if you can. Okay. How many? Let's see. I don't know. Say. One sec. One. There's 20. There's 20. Okay. So just use that review we talked about. I sent you the video. There's another video on there by my coworker. It's also inside my labs, and also I gave you that printout. If you didn't get a printout last time, let me know. I think I have 1 or 2 left in here. But get that stuff done because we're gonna keep moving on to chapter 4 and 5, and then test 2 will be coming pretty soon. Okay, so get that out of the way. Anyway, you guys good on the exam reviews? You all got them? Good. All right, we'll see you Thursday.